My name is Mary, I'm 40 years old, and a mother of two wonderful children. My husband John is 45, and we've been married for 18 years. When we first said our vows, my heart overflowed with hope and happiness. John was kind then. He smiled every day and whispered those three words I longed to hear. I love you. I believed him with every fiber of my being. I truly thought we were destined to build a beautiful life together. One filled with love, laughter, and unwavering partnership. 2 years into our marriage, we welcomed our son Adam, a bright, curious little boy whose laughter could chase away any darkness. 2 years after that, our daughter Lily arrived, gentle, sweet, and gifted with a voice that loved to sing, her heart overflowing with kindness. I chose to stay home to raise them, cherishing every moment, teaching them their first words, watching their first steps, cooking their favorite meals, and creating a home full of love. John worked tirelessly in those early years. He provided for us and came home with stories to tell and hugs to share. But slowly something shifted. He started working late, too late. Then the trips began, frequent, unexplained, and vague. The I love yous stopped altogether. When I questioned him, asking where he was or why he was so distant, he snapped back. I work for this family. Don't ask questions. It hurt deeply, but I stayed silent. I loved him, clinging desperately to the hope that the man I married might return to me someday. Then, 7 years ago, that fragile hope shattered completely. John went on another business trip. While tidying up our home, I found 2 plane tickets, one with his name, the other with a woman's name I'd never heard before. My heart broke instantly. I cried for 3 days straight, unable to eat or sleep, drowning in the silence of a home that suddenly felt cold and foreign. When he returned, I confronted him, voice trembling. Who is she? He looked away and muttered, she's nobody. Don't worry about it. But I didn't believe him. I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but I swallowed the pain. Okay, I whispered, not because I believed him, but because our son was only 3, and I couldn't bear to shatter his little world. Years passed and nothing changed. John kept working late, kept disappearing. I knew in my heart he was still seeing that woman. With every passing day, my love grew colder, and the home I once cherished felt emptier. I continued cooking, cleaning, caring for our children, but I felt invisible. I looked at John and saw a stranger. Then something unexpected happened. I ran into someone from my past, an old friend named Alex. He was kind, gentle, with a warmth that reminded me of what I'd lost. I saw him once with his wife, how he opened the car door for her, helped her with her coat, and smiled like she mattered. And suddenly, I realized I'd never had that kind of love, not really. Alex and I began to talk, small conversations at first. He asked, how are you? And I told him I was fine, even though I wasn't. But he listened, truly listened. He said, you matter, Mary. You're strong. And something inside me stirred for the first time in years. I smiled again. I laughed, not because I was in love with Alex, but because I remembered what it felt like to be seen. There were no gifts or grand promises, just understanding, and the simple feeling of being human again. John eventually found out. He was furious. He shouted, why did you do this? I looked him straight in the eyes and said, because I needed love. That night, John cried for the first time in years. He showed real emotion and said, I love you. Please don't leave. I asked him, why now? After 18 years. He had no answer, only that he hadn't realized how much I was hurting. Soon after, I fell seriously ill and was hospitalized. John stayed by my side, held my hand and whispered, don't leave me. I love you. That was only the second time in 18 years he had said those words. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I knew the other woman was still waiting. Now John sleeps beside me most nights. He's home more often. He takes out the trash, washes the dishes, and asks if I need help. These small gestures matter. They mean something. Still, when I look at him, I don't see the man I once married. I see someone who broke my trust. One night, sitting around the dinner table with Adam and Lily, I watched them laugh and share stories about school. I thought to myself, asterisk, they're so happy. They have no idea about the sadness inside me. Asterisk. After dinner, I asked Adam, Do you think Daddy and I are happy? He looked surprised and said, I don't know, Mom. You're kind to each other, but sometimes you look sad. Lily, sweet and innocent, added, Mom, I just want us to stay together. Their words cut through me like a knife. I didn't want to keep pretending anymore. I visited Alex one last time. We hadn't spoken since John found out. When I saw him, he smiled and asked, How are you? I said, I'm trying to fix my life. He nodded and said, You're strong, Mary. You'll find your way. I told him, You reminded me that I'm important. Then I walked away, knowing it was the last time I'd see him. That evening, I spoke to John honestly for the first time in years. We need to be honest, I said. Do you want this marriage to work? He said yes. I asked, Can you leave the other woman? Can you truly give me the love I need? He said, I'll try. I replied, Trying isn't enough. You have to mean it. Since then, we've taken small steps, walks together, conversations about the weather, the kids, little moments of laughter. I see hope, but my heart still hesitates. Forgiving John has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I still remember the pain, the plane tickets, the nights I cried alone, but I also remember Alex and the choices I've made. One day, looking in the mirror, I told myself, Mary, you're not perfect, but you are worthy of peace. Now, I live one day at a time. John and I are still together. It's not perfect. He says he loves me, and sometimes I believe him, sometimes I don't. I focus on my children and try to smile for them, even when my heart feels heavy. I've also started focusing on myself, reading books, going for walks, learning to love myself again. One day, I wrote a letter to myself. It said, Dear Mary, you are strong. You are kind. You are important. Life is hard, but you can handle it. Love yourself first. Then you can love others. You deserve happiness. Don't forget that. I keep that letter in my drawer, and when the sadness comes, I read it. It reminds me I'm not alone. This journey has taught me so much. I've learned that love isn't just words, it's actions, care, and respect. I've learned people make mistakes, even me. And most of all, I've learned that I am stronger than I ever knew. I have survived betrayal, loneliness, and heartbreak. And through it all, I still believe in healing and hope, and in the possibility of new beginnings.